Police in Haiti say they have arrested one of the suspected masterminds in the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Haiti's elections minister says it's clear that Colombian mercenaries didn't act alone.
I don't think mercenaries, Colombians, former Colombians military, would just get in the country. It's obvious.
63-year-old Christian Emmanuel Sanon is accused of orchestrating the attack. Government officials say that he flew to Haiti on a private jet in early June, accompanied by hired security guards. Officials allege that he wanted Jovenel Moïse ousted and wanted to replace him. Meantime, Haiti dealing with a power struggle as well, with dueling prime ministers. They've asked for the United States to send in troops. The U.S. is saying no, although they are sending in some technical advisors. For more, let's go to Anne-Rose Schoen. She is a freelance journalist joining us from Haiti today. Thank you for taking the time to come on the program. I appreciate it.
Good morning.
Can you give us the latest on this suspect who's being detained? What do we know? What are authorities saying beyond what I was outlining there a moment ago?
Well, what we know about him is that he is a Florida resident. He is apparently also an ex-vice president of a Canadian NGO. And he, according to the chief of police, recruited the Colombians through a security company that is based in Miami and is owned by a Venezuelan. And then, he flew, like you said before, he flew to Haiti with some of the Venezuelans, with some of the Colombians. And another thing that the chief of police was mentioning is that in the night, early morning of the assassination, he got a call from the Colombians, and then he called two other people that the chief of police singled out as masterminds, but it is not clear whether he knows who they are or whether they know where they are living or who they are, or whether the police know who they are.
So many questions here, as you know, Anne-Rose, about who was responsible, the Colombian involvement, those with American citizenship as well, and also the power struggle going on currently in Haiti, where you are. Can you tell us what that's like here, where we have, different prime ministers saying that they should be the ones to lead Haiti in the middle of this crisis?
Yeah, we have two prime ministers and one president. So we have Dr. Claude Joseph, who in the night of the 7th declared himself the acting prime minister, and who is actually talking mostly to everybody as the chief of the government. Then we have the prime minister that was designated in the official newspaper by the former president Jovenel Moïse, who is Dr. Ariel Henry. And then we have the Joseph Lambert, who is the president of the Senate, who had been declared provisionary president of Haiti by a resolution by the Senate. I mean, by the last 10 senators that are still in place. Yeah, it is a power struggle, like always in Haiti. Once there is a vacuum, everybody wants to be president, everybody wants to get into power. So it's not clear what's going to happen.
And what's it like in Haiti right now amid all of this? There's, as you say, two prime ministers, one president. There's an investigation into an assassination. They're asking for the U.S. to send troops. The U.S. is saying no. Just the mood, Anne-Rose.
Yeah, just one little comment. Apparently, there was a declaration by the State Department that they do not rule out a military intervention in case there is a big problem that just came in. But on the other side, how is it in Haiti? There is a Creole expression. The country is honey. That means miel, and that means that it's not sure what's going to happen. It looks scary. People are scared, rushing to the supermarkets, trying to buy what they can buy so they don't have to stay in the streets. Everybody just goes out and runs back home. It is a very uncertain situation, and people are just very jumpy.
Anne-Rose, thank you so much for taking some time to come on the program with us here in Canada. I look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thank you.